Hello guys. We kind of finished the data processing part and we're kind of moving to the next chapter today. So in the previous discussions we talked about data processing and data collection and data processing, but we kind of assumed data is available already, so we kind of just download the data and work on it. But remember, how do you get the data in the first place? So what is generating the data? So some data collection, yes, but the data comes from something. Okay, there's a source of data. So something generating the data. So that's why the next step we kind of talk about the sources of data, the entities, the business units creating the data, generating the data. So we'll talk about that. So basically this chapter talks about processes, a business process. Alright, as you can see on the screen, I kind of have a drawing explaining a typical business process. A business process is a set of activities converting inputs to outputs, as you can see. So consider this illustration from here to here. Okay, so the whole gray area represents a typical business process. So the inputs, a box, a kind of black box, and outputs coming out of the box is considered, they are considered part of the process. So the whole thing is a process. But what happens is, inside the box there are a set of activities processing the inputs. Okay, and then at the end of this processing there is an output or a couple of outputs coming out of the box, and then these outputs are kind of more useful. Okay, after the processing there is value added to each input, so you have something, hopefully something better. Alright, a business process is basically, could be a small process, could be a large process. So here the scale or scope is kind of important. So what is the process under study? So what is your focus? What are you studying? So it could be a department, it could be a division, and even it could be the whole company as a process. All right. Sometimes even just a machine, a computer, for example, or a production machine. Okay, processing components. It could be a process. You know, if there is a processing, so there must be a process. Okay, or if there is a process, there is processing. All right. So this is a kind of a general model fitting in a lot of situations. Even the data processing fits in this model. So for example, you have the data coming in, you have the computer in here, and then processed data comes out as information. Correct? So this is the idea we have been talking so far. So raw data is processed into information. So, but it's not just information, it could be any other material. For example, land coming in, labor, people coming in, materials coming in, natural resources, electric energy, gas, capital, money, entrepreneurship, and also data. Everything could be coming in a process and comes together and processed all together, and at the end giving out something useful. For example, finished products comes out, finished services, information, and also some undesired side effects like waste comes out. Alright, so this is the idea with any business process. I'm going to give you a couple of examples. For example, think about some kind of insurance processing department, a department processing claims in an insurance company. So a lot of customers sending claims. For example, you got a car accident, so you're filling out a couple of forms, couple of pictures attached, and so on. So you make your application received by the claims department and processed. Each customer's claim processed one by one. All right, as you can see, I'm using the term processed. Claims are processed. So there is a process, including a process, a person reviewing each claim, accepting or rejecting the claim. So there's a file, customer file. There are a couple of forms. So you see the processor, the guy processing, reading each document and making a decision at the end. All right. So the output is maybe a decision, a reject or accept decision. That's the output of the process. The inputs are what? Claims, forms. All right. So these are processed. Okay, what else? As simple as a barbershop, a hair salon. So you go there, well, you are the actually flow item. You're the item to be processed. A person is the item. And the person cuts your hair based on your description. What do you want? Short hair, very short hair, all right, and things like that. And then you get your haircut done. So you spend some time there, and then the job is done. But at the end of the process, you leave with the service on you. All right, so it's a service on you. Okay, that's another process example. How about a factory making bikes, motorcycles, making cars, making helicopters, okay, aircrafts and things like that. So it's a huge process, right? So from one end, you receive materials, parts, components, and everything gets together, assembled into a finished car, for example. All right. So a lot of inputs coming in, and then a lot of cars, finished cars coming out. So yeah, you can see that this is a huge process. But if you focus, if you zoom in, you will see smaller sub-processes making up a huge process. So for example, zoom in and zoom in, you will see the painting department, you will see the assembly department, you will see the design department, you will see the quality assurance department, you will see this and that. So even you focus further, zoom in further, you'll see individual machines, individual assembly lines. All right, things coming in, things coming out, and then those things are assembled, painted, becoming a product. Okay, becoming the raw materials, become components, components become finished products. All right, so depending on what part you study, are you going to be studying the entire process, or you're going to be studying a sub process, a smaller process? All right, totally up to you. So what is your purpose? Why do you analyze? The reason to analyze a process is probably to improve it. All right. So in operations management, there's another course. In operations management, your objective is to improve business processes. So what's wrong with the process? Why is this so slow? For example, why are these products are so low quality? You get so many defectives. Why? You find a problem and fix it and improve the entire process. This is operations management. In our case, maybe we have the same objective, but other times the process, what you want is process goes smoothly. All right. So somebody designed the process make sure it works as designed. However it is designed, let's make sure it works that way. So how do you make sure it works okay? Well, you collect data, all right, see how's the performance, is there any problems, so is there any fluctuations in quality, a lot of fluctuations, a lot of, is there any slowness, is there any too fast, too slow? So how do you know something is too slow? How do you know something is defective in the first place? Well, you have to collect data. You have to measure and collect data. So that's where we come in, information systems come in. All right, so you collect the data and you have to store. You measure the data, collect the data, store the data, process the data, analyze the data, and make a decision. All right, and what you see is when you collect the data, process goes smoothly, everything is okay, that's great, that's the objective. Well, as you can see in this illustration, there are a couple of dashed lines and arrows here. So basically this box represents the management here. So management receiving information about, or data about, the process. So management receiving that kind of information or data makes decisions about process. See, yeah, everything is okay, we're good to go. Or sometimes not everything is good, some things are bad, something is not working. So in that case, management is involved trying to find the source of the problem, cause of the problem, and try to fix it. All right, so these arrows, the location of these arrows, as you can see, indicates some major points of data collection. All right, so one point, as you can see, data is collected about the outputs. All right, so these outputs, the products finished, but you collect data anyway. The cars are finished, but you check one more time. All right, in the visual checks, how many scratches, you run the car runs or not run. All right, so is there any noise coming out? Okay, couple of checks, or another thing is you deliver the car and the customer receiving that, and then couple of weeks later you receive complaints, or you send a customer satisfaction survey. The survey tells you something about the finished product. All right, so you get that survey and then analyze it. Right, how about this particular arrow here? This arrow represents information from inside the process, inside the process, what's going on. I'm going back to the car example. How many cars are finished as of today, as of now? All right, how many are defectives? How many components are wasted? How many machines are broken? How many workers called in sick and not showing up? All right, as of now. So this is like ongoing basis or timely basis right now. Okay, so as the process runs and executed, you collect data. So that goes to the management also. All right, here's another data collection point. This data is about inputs. So what kind of, like I said, what kind of material you are receiving? All good materials, that's fine. How about some defectives in the materials? So that's not good. So basically the reason you measure the data, you collect the data to see all of these inputs are up to the standard and reasonable quality. Otherwise, you see, this is the entry point. If you take bad pieces, what you're gonna be making is bad. All right, it will turn out to be a bad product. So right in the beginning, you try to catch it. All right, is there Is there any problems with the materials? Are there any problems with the labor you're hiring? Make sure the workers, employees are qualified for the job. Energy, gas, money, how much money coming in, how much money are invested. So basically these are the things you kind of collect and send to the management. So this is where the information systems and information technology works, all right, providing valuable information to the management. So management decides what to do. Another box here, as you can see, something called a database. So basically this is sometimes, for the proper working of the process, you need additional data. For example, barcoded items, barcodes. So you're using materials, but then each time you use the material, it has to be subtracted from the inventory database. So that what we will know anytime, we will know the inventory levels. Inventory is going down because we are assembling cars, and car using tires, wheels, glasses, windows. So each time you make a new car, those parts are used, and then at some point you will hit zero, no parts, no components, and then your entire factory will stop. That's not good. So basically you keep track of that kind of information, and then like I said, that information goes to the database, all right, and then you get the data back again. You check how many inventory we have here, all right, and you use that information in here. Do we have a certain component? Can we instead use another component, and things like that. So maybe you like to have that arrow, and also that arrow goes to the management also, all right, and things like that. All right, guys, looks like this is the general idea, all right, with the process, and we're gonna continue with specific process examples. So I'm gonna stop right now, and in my next lecture I'm gonna give you a specific example. All right, see you in my next lecture. Bye now.